or Chinese, or America, or Germany. We don't know really. It's just produced by the human company. The secretary of the mother of the humans and the big boss of the father, they produced our car. Now we are on this human car. We are driving day and night. We are on the highway of the path. We call the sometimes samsaric path, sometimes we call it nirvana's path. But anyway, we are on the path. But someone's never give to us manual instructions or the manual guide books, how you can to drive, where you need to rest, where you need to put petrol, which kind you need passengers, which need to drive lessons. In your cars, you need diesel or petrol. We don't know. But someone's telling to us, it's called the manual instructions or guide instructions or guide book, or someone's to tell to us, you need to drive like this, that, positive way you want to drive or negative way you drive, or you want to neutral, not fast, not slow, maybe it's more nice. But then, if we have something instructions, I think easily we can to drive. Therefore, today we are going to study about the Bardos. Generally, in the Buddhist texts or the instruction, explanation of the Bardos, or explanation of the Bardo, there is 4 Bardos and 6 Bardos. The included, all our times, everything is included there. That is our time. For example, we come to say we have 12 hours or 24 hours. We can shorten to say day and night. In the day and night, it doesn't matter how much you have minutes, how much hours, it's included in the day and night. That you can to say the 24 hours or 12 hours or kind of day and night. Like this. This 24 hours, during the 24 hours, or periods of the 24 hours, they are kind of 4 steps of the Bardo or 6 steps of the Bardos. And day and night, we can to compare or reference or example for our life and the death. Exactly the same, day and night. Day, during the day, the Bardo of the during the day, nice, we come to do something. And when we be in during the night, the Bardo of night, it's difficult to do something. And our body, speech, completely kind of dead. And only the mind is to follow the day-night dream. We have such different feeling, emotional things, but difficult to do some positive or negative things, such profound actions. And this one we can compare life and death. Life is the same as during the day. during the life, when we born until we die. And during these periods, we have some great opportunities. As I said, which country we found the car. Make joke, I rented car these times from the Zurich company. When I was in Brussels, I asked to the secretary, can you rent one car? She said, okay, I will rent it for your car. When I found out which kind of I can get car, ugly or something nice, I asked her to my secretary, please can you rent some automatic car. And when I arrive in airport, like I'm born, I'm going towards the car parking, in the car companies. I asked her, I rent a car. He said, oh, yes, no problem. I'm still thinking which kind of I will get the car. But I got very good car. I'm happy. Yesterday I drove a little bit in the city with the chain, how do you say? Chain like boss. And then you be in the car, oh, that is my car. Like sense, when we searching, when we after died to find the car, which kind of car we don't know. Certainly we found the something car. When we enter in the car, marvelous car. It's a human car, human being's car. Then we be in the human being's car. Then is during the life, we need to drive it. And until how many years that we don't know. Sometimes very funny things, I have feelings. Once I was in Finland with one guy, and we went in the working some in the hut, and he says, Rinpoche, can I show you something? I said, yes. Can you look, there's the big house. I said, yes. That is our Finnish most big kind of hospitals. He said, I'm born there. I worked more than 50 years there. Maybe I'm going to die there. And kind of shock or something. I'm saying, oh yeah, oh nice. But inside not really nice, you know. It's give me expression of, always like a kind of education of the impermanent. Yes, born, sitting, and disintegrate. We think, oh, I can to drive a long time permanently in this car. It's not truth. First time we rent from this car, from these human companies. We don't know this boss who is, but saying that's kind of periods you can use after please to give back. And then certain is the times arrive, we cannot drive anymore. We need to give back. But anyway, during this, how many years? Someone cannot drive longer. Few days, they need to give back. Someone's few weeks, someone few months, someone's few years. Luckily, someone's maybe 100 years they can drive. After the 100 years, car is old. Anyway, you continue drive, it's not pleasant. Better to give back. And then during this period, it's we call the Bardo. And included, there is like kind of, who says, 3 Bardos. And during that in our life, day is all the times the Bardo of the birth. More fortunate, more we can to work, more active. We need to do something. Even we cannot do much positive things, but we need to make happy ourselves. You know, one person, he has the most expensive car. Which ones? I don't know. Mercedes or Java? And he driven maybe it's many years. And one person say, "Are you happy? Did you enjoy it?" "Not much." "This car is a good car?" "I'm not sure." But others to look at this car, wow, so marvelous. This person should to be happy. But the driver itself doesn't recognize his car's good or pleasure or gorge. He just driving. I don't know, it's just happy or not. And like same as we are, we have perfect car, it's a human. And during the day, we should to do something to make happy. And in the Bardo instructions, to say, when you obtain or to be in the Bardo of the birth, do not be lazy. Do not go under the laziness. Do not go under the ignorant. You should to recognize your life. You should to recognize your present situation with your car. It is a truth. And during the Bardo of the birth, included there's two another Bardos. The Bardo of the meditation. Bardo meditation is just to say that meditations, many meditations. Positive meditation, negative meditation, neutral meditation, imagination meditation. For example, positive meditations. Maybe you generate compassion, constantly benefit for all the sentient beings, to keep on your mind that positive meditation. And maybe, and the mindfulness, or through the mindfulness, to look each essence of the negative emotions. Maybe you can to slowly to control your negative emotions. Slowly, slowly, you can to stop the negative emotions, to turn to more negative emotions, or positive emotions, positive thoughts. It's positive meditations. There's many different methods, entrance to meditate in the Buddhist way. There are many different positive meditations. And also, of course, negative meditations. Through your anger, through your jealousy, through your aversion, and like kind of bad wish, concern the self-orientance or self-concern is nothing benefit for the others. And also neutrality, kind of ignorant, no negative, no positive. But sometimes it's imaginations, a little bit neutral, or if I become like this, or I will to do something. I mean, it's imagination. When I be in Belgium, or I want to study French, surely one day I will become king of the Belgium. That times how I can to make rules, how I can do work in the palace. It is imagine meditations. We have a lot of imagination meditations. Inconceivable. I mean, maybe not, you haven't, okay? Me, yes. Sometimes it's like the imaginations, meditations finish it, then I think how the periods or how many hours or I meditate on that, wow, sometimes shame, self. Why am I concerned like this? Impossible things that we call the unimagined. That is making us very much confused, and it can beginning is a little make relaxation when you're doing, when you like reciting or meditating other things, positive meditation times, just 2-3 minutes tired. To release from that, go direction the image meditations. Then we come to meditate hours. For me, it's like 24 hours I can to meditate on the image meditation. There's no problem, body, speech, mind. But finally is finished, completely tired, sad, and lot of depressed, confusions. That is we call the imagination meditation. No, very good. What I'm saying that these things, it's the Bardo of the meditations. Anyway, this periods, how long you stay on that statement. If you say it's like, okay, I'm like meditate on the Buddha. I'm thinking of the Buddha and all the body of the Buddha. How long we can to meditate? And maybe 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, maybe no more than that. But this during periods, it is meditation, Bardo of the meditations. If you concerning something to concerning the Buddha's body, speech, mind, then you have some imagination or imagine. Enlightened body is like this. Why is it I call the enlightened? Enlightened body is like this. Why? Because through the meditation of the compassion, through the activity of the compassion, through the doing the positive things, then the result is the extraordinary body, speech, mind. There's nothing kind of give to us message of the negative things. And then you say, yes. And more insights kind of develop the positive things. And then it's like kind of a give to us, enthusiastic, to we want to become same as this person. And therefore we are meditating on the Buddha speech, body, speech, mind, representing the Buddhas. And it's a kind of give out, like kind of positive. I can take example. If we have one statue of the Buddha or any deities, when we meditate on that, during the how many periods, durations, and these durations we concern, that's the enlightened. It can give me something. Why? Because it's enlightened, it's compassion and wisdom representative. Any deities, it doesn't matter Buddhism or not, with any kind of spirituals, they concern any kind of deity or God. May they think that, I'm meditating on that, I will pray to that, I'm thinking that, I look at the pictures, surely I can receive something, because it is a doer of the best things to the sentient beings. And it can such a benefit, it's giving to the positive message to in our heart. Then opposite, for example, if you are thinking gun or knife, if you want material of the guns, automatic, where it's made, how you can shoot, if kill to the animal or human, any kind of kill, how I can. There's all the negative message. And this negative message to give to us negative message, and then making mind is more negative. And therefore, I'm saying it's like any kind of symbolic of the enlightened body, speech, mind, it's very important. I think therefore in the Buddhist practitioners all times speech minds. And same as the one you meditated on the later flower, there's some symbolic, some is positive things, not negative. I never ever heard in the Buddhist scriptures to say, oh, you should meditate gun, or you should meditate knife. Never. And oh, maybe we can just say, my teacher is carrying the knife, and that is not really knife, it's representing the wisdom. And then there is different approaches. And therefore, during the meditations like this, and of course, if we have received the path instructions, really introduced the essential nature of the mind, to meditate on that, then these periods or these durations, we developed such and profound, magnific things to develop our mind. And maybe it's like 1 or 2 seconds, if possible, to meditate on the path instructions, quintessential path instructions. And this is like a repair, just normal meditation, maybe years, maybe 3 years, 10 years, you just meditate normal way, not really profound, not very much good guide, just meditate maybe 10 or 20 years, maybe difficult to match like the result. Maybe if you have correction path instructions you received from the qualified teachers, you also maintain correctly, perfectly, maybe even you meditate 1 or 2 seconds, few seconds, it's such and such benefit. It's marvelous. And if we meditate on that, this duration's meditation, such a benefit for all another the periods of the Bardos. But anyway, meditation, the Bardo of the meditation. And then Bardo of the dreams. This is 2 Bardos included in the Bardo of the birth. And then he said, during the Bardo of the dreams, and when we go to on the bed, there is a kind of the signs of the dissolutions. Maybe during the you work very hard, you're going to bed very late, and your eye and your body to say, please go to bed, please go to bed. And you are yawn, and from eyes tears come. That is kind of the signs of the dissolution. But we know very well for the sleep. We're not afraid. We are very happy to say, I'm going to bed. I want to sleep. When we go to this bed, to lying down, and then all the outer organs start the dissolutions. It's a small dissolution, nice dissolution. And all the eyes, nose, faculties, all the 5 faculties dissolved slowly into the mental consciousness. Mental consciousness dissolves into the disturbing emotions consciousness. Disturbing emotion consciousness dissolves into the based consciousness. Sometimes you call the alaya. That moment, it's like outer dissolutions already started. We can't hear, we can't see. Even someone's open like this, our eyes, there's no function. And someone's nice incense to come in to put heat, and can you smell? We can't say. This organ is already like kind of dissolution, how to say, dissolved. And then it's the alaya, the consciousness of the ground. 1 second dissolved into the natural space. Yesterday we talking about where we are come from, where we are living, where we are dissolved. There is something 100%. Because we need to search. It doesn't matter God or Buddha nature. In Buddhist perspective, it's Buddha nature, okay? dissolve into that we call the natural state. Just 1 second, you cannot maintain there. We'll wake up. We'll be in the dream world. At that moment, it's normal, our organs completely stopped. Now we have mental organs, eye, ear, nose, and sense, all. Then we are going into the bardo of the dreams. It's not really freedoms. We want to try to do something, and we have feeling exactly the same during the days. If someone's beat to us, we can become angry, we can to be pain, we can to say shouting to say I'm in pain because you beat to me. You know, I made a joke last night. This big elephant, it came into my bedroom. I'm very much scared. I'm running and running. There's huge jungle. As I'm running, all this jungle forest hit to me everywhere in my body. But this elephant is very fast. And run and run. And finally, you can recognize this is my dream. There's no elephant, there's no forest. And then I want to enjoy to them, but then it's like, it's difficult. Everything is like kind of unsolid. It's like can't appear, but it's not really can work. But of course, we have pattern in the mind. And these patterns are still going on. You have there's appearances. You can to see such mountains, water, and sky, and different beings. You can to see, meet your friend, chatting, argue, beating. Do what it is, same as the day. But how long periods you stay in this bardo, and then certainly also in this bardos start dissolutions coming, dissolve into the bardo of the, how do you see, the state of the Buddha nature, or the natural expanse, and then one moment we wake up. Certainly it's become the bardo of the birth. Wake up, where is my breakfast? Someone's saying outside, breakfast is ready. So we start to think. That is the short to saying to you about the 3 bardos, okay? After that we have post or this break, and then we can continue. Thank you. Well, maybe we can continue, follow up what we are talking. We're talking about this first 3 bardos. The bardo of the birth, the bardo of the meditation, and the bardo of dream. As I said, it's like sometimes there's 4 bardos and sometimes 6 bardos. And when you say the 4 bardos, bardo of the birth, bardo of the death, bardo of the dharmata, bardo of the becoming, these 4 bardos are the resuming, like many schools. They use the 4 bardos. But here is like more details. We said the 6 bardos. Added the bardo of the meditation, bardo of the dreams. Then it's become the 6 bardos. But when we say that the four Bardos. The Bardo of the dream, Bardo of the meditation included the Bardo of a birth. And why we need to study these durations or intermediate state, all we can do is between that. And this morning we are saying that we can to say, when you be in the kitchen, in the morning you are making breakfast. How long, we don't know. Maybe if you prepared for the last night, everything so you are there, what you need things for the breakfast. Maybe it's not, it doesn't take much, quickly, fast. But anyway, when you need to make the breakfast, you are in the kitchen. And when we be in the kitchen, at that moment, maybe 1 hour you want to prepare. And during this 1 hour, you are be in the Bardo of the kitchen. And at that durations, what you need to mindfulness. You need really is like attention. And which kind of you are going to make breakfast? Tibet style or Suri style, or which kind of style? And first time you have idea, and then you are acting. And also during this 1 hour, and your preparation for the food, cutting and preparing for cheese, any kind of, and you need good motivation, good attention, good meditations, good views, and someone's guide to us to say, when you be in the kitchen, and of course first time you need this and that kind of, you already prepared, and after you're going to make which kind of style breakfast, Suri style or Tibet or any, then you need to do like this and that. For example, if I say, oh, I'm going to make the Suri style breakfast, but I prepared the thamba, exotic Pamalai, butter cheese, everything. Bring in the front of you, say, I made Surish breakfast. It's not correct. And you expecting to receive the Surish breakfast, but Tibetan thamba coming. It's not correct. And it's a small result. Is maybe the receiver is not very happy, and the doers finally the result is, oh my God, what can I do now? I said I need to prepare the Surish breakfast, but I did like wrong. And finally, maybe there's a big disaster things happen. But during this periods, 1 hour, you have good motivations. I want to make the breakfast. I shoot this breakfast delicious, where whoever I serves to give. If we haven't got this enthusiastic or this kind of feeling or interest, maybe your breakfast is not very delicious. In that many texts said, some slaves, some workers say, it's my job, I need to do it, but I'm not very happy. Okay, to do. Half is washed, half is not washed, half is healthy, not healthy. It's, okay, here you are, go on your head, and your breakfast there. Of course, they can't see that in your breakfast dream. But it's the receivers, maybe we don't know which kind of receive the breakfast. And maybe it's turned bad to things, maybe it's become a poison, maybe something bad things this person said. And also it's like for us, it's not very good to them. Therefore, beginning we need to the good motivation, anyway I need to do the breakfast, no choice. It's necessary. I cannot avoid that. Doing myself or to others or families, friends, any to do, enthusiastically, you do it. 1 hour I need to. With mindfulness, begin you have good motivation, and second, you have good view how you can do. Which kind of food is healthy, which kind of combinations to do. And also it's like you have good actions. Very gentle, very safe, you not cut your finger, and you washing very well, do not very much disturb to the others. And someone's really happily, comfortably doing, doesn't make noise. Someone's in the kitchen or not, you don't know. And surround, there's many your families or some friends sleep, they don't hear you. So someone's not happy, so it looks like all the cups, the plate is going to break, you know, not like this. But anyway, then this is like kind of what I'm saying is like durations. Now, we come to think, when we born, it's like kind of this morning we say it's like enter into the human cars. And of course at the beginning a little bit difficult to drive, more slowly. Our great driver lesson teacher is the parents, telling to us how we can to drive, but they are not really perfect teacher, you know, how to drive the human cars. And when we are maturated to a little become advantageous, or it's like something is like become the good drivers. Maybe we want to become more good drivers safely, like kind of how do you say it's perfectly to become driver, to reach into the city of the enlightenment. Then we need rely on the good driver teachers and ask to how I can to drive, how I need to prepare in these durations. And when we become the kind of adult, teenagers, that moment our body is a kind of maturation or the development. It's a kind of more profound. That means it's like this body, it is really become more solid and become more strong. And according to that, mind is become kind of maturated, and to concerning things. Generally speaking, says I'm matured, I'm a teenager. I need to go to the university, I need to go to study. Why I need to study? I need to preparation for my life. If I do not study, if I'm stupid, I cannot get any good job, I will become very strange. In this case, for the duration of the part of the birth, maybe I have a lot of lack of the food, clothes, accommodation, and like kind of things. And then all the time problems, not really life is comfortable, very much uncomfortable. And therefore we are going to university or to school to study. It's a kind of preparations. This is like obviously no choice. You cannot avoid. Of course, like same as me, when I go to university to study, I'm hated, you know. I'm very bad student. I don't want to go to school. My favorite is every day go to the party, dance, sing, and doing funny things. But if you do like this, then the result, final result is not very good. It's a kind of damage to our own soul. And therefore, during this period of the Bardo of the birth, we need something to do. And I mean, it's like I say this, that when you are during the 1 hour to be in the kitchen, you cannot eat and together working. It's very strange. 1 hour you need to work, and then you put in the table, then you need going to eat. That you give to others or yourself like this. Same way, during the Bardo of the birth, we don't know how long durations. Doesn't matter 20, 30, 100 years. We're making for some delicious breakfast next morning. We don't know next morning, next rebirth, maybe. Then we need to prepare something. And to prepare, in order to prepare, what we need to prepare. For example, we can to say day and night. So we have experience. What is we have experience of this morning, yesterday whole day, lunch, dinner. And then we have imagination. Today I need to prepare. Tomorrow is not existent, but I'm going to tomorrow. When I'm going to tomorrow, I need breakfast, I need lunch, I need dinner. 100% cannot avoid. In this case, today we are preparing for the kitchen. Preparing for the kitchen stock, so how do you say, things, everything. Why are you doing like this? You just, today is your life, you eat, all day your plate, whatever kitchen thing, throw out. Why you can using automatically, no, I'm going to tomorrow. And tomorrow is not exist 100%, but according to today, we are going to tomorrow. Absolutely. That's maybe we can talk to different way. This is like, you believe or not believe, this is like kind of telling the reincarnations, rebirths. But anyway, rebirth of this life. Today we hear, but tomorrow we are going to reborn again. New day, new life, new style, new different taste. We cannot carry whatever we have today. You know, for example, we ate this sandwich, but this sandwich similarity we can going to receive tomorrow. But today's sandwich is already gone. It never ever bring today's sandwich tomorrow. But we know about that. Tomorrow, surely, lunch times, I need to eat some sandwich or something. Then there's breakfast time, break times. And then these images coming, automatically concerning rebirth of the tomorrow. And then is during these durations, what we need to do something. For example, to say something. In the Bardo instruction of the Guru Rinpoche's Padmasambhava say that sometimes you need to say something. It doesn't matter if you call the prayer, it doesn't matter you call that's recitation something. And you need to tell something yourself. Generally it's called the prayers. What does it mean, prayers? It says during the part of the birth, if I be in that kind of situation, please to have more, I have attention, mindfulness. May I think some positive things, what I need to do, benefit for next step. And also if I do some positive good things, and it's not only the benefit for myself, to others. As I said, the breakfast. When you do the families, the mothers making the breakfast, and she concerning all the families, not concerning herself. I'm going to make breakfast for my family, healthy, delicious, good, and clean, everything is very well like this. Then it's included herself, like this, during the Bardo of the birth. Okay, I'm concerning myself. I have my body, speech, mind. which kind of benefit in this life. How I can to taking care of my body, speech, mind. And my body, speech, mind is going towards forward, step by step. If we believe or not believe, next rebirth. But in this life I have, each picosecond there's a rebirth. In the text there's 12 links of the interdependence. Have you studied that? And if you 12 links, how we are going to through this process. And the longer one, this 12 periods, is one life, one day, next and the life. Between there is 12 links each other. And this time, this period is finished, you 100% it's connected to this next like this, distance, destinations. There's like a kind of, how to say, the connector. And shortly than 1 picosecond, this link of the 12 is also going. And like this, anyway, it's like past linked to the present, present linked to the futures. And then it's like in this life, we have day and night, month and the like kind of next month, first year, next years. There are going some on. And then we see what I need to do. Benefit for my body, speech, mind. Principally like this. Of course, in the Buddhist perspective, you only concern your body's benefit for your body, speech, mind. Maybe not very good. And then you say, as Guru Rinpoche said, you should request and add as something, aid, A-I-D, aid, kind of invoke it to the compassionate beings, generally speaking, Buddha and Bodhisattvas. And you kind of making kind of contribution or donate or offerings, physically or imaginatively, mentally. And principally, in the Buddhist perspective, there's 3 jewels. That is all out the how do you say, is the resource of the refuge. 3 jewels, or Buddha, Bodhisattvas, compassionate, wherever to dwells in the 10 directions. And sometimes in the Buddhist perspective, mandalas, candles, incense, so on, is a representative of our 5 desirable objects, like form, smell, taste, and so on. And you say it's like, this is the best I'm offering to you. Please, to concerning all the sentient beings, included myself. And imaginatively, who has compassion, who has some loving kindness, visions, this kind of being concerning to the benefit for sentient beings, those great compassion and wisdoms, visions to have, those are my source of the refuge. I'm aiding to them, ask, please, to refuge or to protect to me and to all the other sentient beings. When we be in the Bardo of the birth, please to guide to us, to tell to us how we need to do. And that is like a kind of very important. If someone has such a compassion, they automatically they do, like the same as parents. Children's a little bit kind of crying, that means calling, I'm hungry, mommy, daddy. Mommy, daddy is immediately acting, giving food, milk, And like this, because of their compassions, because of their wisdoms, also they knows how they need, children's. Like maybe 1 or 2 weeks or months, children's parents never give hard bread. It's a soft, rich kind of. Through the compassions, they taking care of the children's food. Through the wisdoms, what children's needed. Which kind of soft, which kind of they can eat, drink. And also they have such and such visions, which kind of to develop their own children, how they can to cherish, look after what necessary for the children, that they have great visions. And not only that, they have such love towards their own children, like compassionate wisdoms, visions, someone's love towards to the sentient beings. We call them the Buddha and Bodhisattvas. Those are the refuge of all the sentient beings. And through their own compassions, we ask to say, please, to come into the front of the me. And really, could you accept it? First, my invocation or invited voice. Like a kind of invocations, it is not a kind of saying, oh, I want to become winner, I want to become rich, I want to become happy. I'm concerned with all, whoever, like same as me, like kind of want to be in the Bardo of the birth, very much confusion, how can to drive the human cars, how we need to avoid, which kind of we need to avoid, which kind of we need to accomplish, adopt. We are very much ignorant. In order to have these distinctions or to have discriminate idea or the wisdoms, we ask, please to come to this place. Could you accept whatever I offering physically or the mentally things? Because who you are, such you have compassion, you are compassion ones, and also you have such and such wisdoms, same as I said. You are kind of omniscient, like a kind of parents. What I need, who is like I, it is the children of the you, who is the Bodhisattvas. And also you have like unimaginate, existent, like understand the wisdoms and loving compassions and extraordinary visions. Through that, please, can you give us manual instructions for in the Bardo of this birth. Now I'm in the Bardo of the birth. Absolutely right now. We say I'm a human being, but we are now in the Bardo. We sometimes say I want to study the Bardo when I'm dying. That is very much stupid way. Because we are in the Bardo of the birth, how it is. Sometimes meditators to say that they go to in the high the mountain, to sit in the top of the mountain, to look at the surround, beautiful views, beautiful blue sky, beautiful forests, beautiful landscapes, rocky mountains, birds singing, different beings. What it is? This is the human appearances. This is the appearances of the Bardo of the birth. Now, am I a human being? Really? What is human beings? Why you call the human beings? And kind of like a not normal way of the thinkings. To really to tell to yourself, physically, to say, this is human beings. Funny or not funny? Of course, we used this body, this car, not funny. But someone never ever saw this car, these human bodies. First time to see it, very funny. Maybe this very scary. You know, it's very funny things, I'm telling to you. I'm all the time living in Western, to work with and Westerns, and then suddenly I'm go back to the Tibet. It's very, very strange. There are some, their eyes like this, and feeling is a completely different word. And then as you stay there long times, then it's of course when I come back, it's just no problem. But first time is quite strange. First time you see it. Like I remember maybe 35 years ago, maybe 35 years ago, I was in the camping place in Tibet. Suddenly two Western girls came. White hair, all the hair is white. Very young, they are riding bicycle, but like, you know, this catty's hair. Everybody is very scary. And to run like 100 people watching. And these two girls very scary, crying. And some is old people say, don't go there, don't look. And some young children, it is human beings. What it is? And then it's like, but you never saw. For example, in Switzerland, it's very funny, okay? Never say, this is national secret. Maybe 60 or 70 years ago, in the Switzerland, in Basel, there's a zoo. They brought two African, one man and a woman, to put in a zoo. You know, it's maybe 70s, I would say it's 80 years ago. They think it is animal, some chimpanzee. But they cannot communicate. They brought to put. Slowly, slowly they discovered it's come from Africa, it's a human being. And then this man, this man and woman, sometimes they're talking, it's not normal. And they embarrassedly, they took out and slowly released. Of course, later they study, and the Swiss, which kind of language, Italian or the French, I don't know. But, and later when they completely, it's national secret, okay? Cannot to say, very embarrassing. It is like this, it's like a, but we never, normally we used to is say, I'm a human, this is a perfect, my body, my verb, my mind is it. But some practitioners go to top of the mountain to say, this is the human realms, marvelous, excellent, this is my human human appearances, this is my human body, speech, mind. Wow, it is marvelous, not marvelous. How it is. Then it's like when you look, it's like more approach to realities. There's one Theravada master, you know, Tishnata. He says, if you look at the blue sky, you say, I'm looking really blue skies. At that moment, you can see the blue sky. And then you can really to test at that moment, you can to look at blue sky. But normally you look at the sky, this we all the time using all blue skies. We never really to test. Like the same way is many details in the sculptures to say when you're eating, talking, chatting, sleep times, you present it. You know, mind is to be the present moment. Then you can to test everything. And it's like what is your life, what is what you're doing. Is the mind is the past or mind in the futures, then what you're doing, what you're eating, what you're talking, it is like kind of a very strange ways doing. And certainly you are talking, but your mind is something else. And then what you're talking, we don't know. And it's very difficult to link what you say after, or what you're eating, difficult to test, like this. Therefore, and some is like understanding wisdoms, loving, compassionate. We ask to say, please, to protect to us, and to guide, to be the guide to us, to make some meaningful in this during the Bardo of the birth. And this Bardo of the birth, one is like a kind of fade away, or how do you say, evaporating, or it's like kind of disappearing times. And that moment, it doesn't matter some others or our own individual, like a kind of self. Then we need to go beyond in this wonderful world. You know, and presently we have wonderful appearances, the appearances of the human appearances. As I said, when you go to the top of the mountain, if sky is like blue, you can see very far, nice landscape, nice forest, birds singing. This is not all the times to have these appearances, very rare. And this kind of human appearances. And we can to have nice appearances. These appearances itself is not existent, but according to our patterns, maybe something preparation of the yesterday, and the periods of on the periods of the last maybe lives. Some is preparation was very good, and according to this habitual forming imprintings to prepare for our nice appearances, obtain the human existence. According that, maybe all the organs like completely intact, or like completed, no there's problems, and then it's like have very nice appearances. There's nothing lack of the food, clothes, shelters, everything's fantastic. You can see that in Sweden, beautiful country, everything is perfect. Civilizations, this is a great opportunities, marvelous. But then it's more concerning. You cannot keep these ones forever. Absolutely, it is the truth. It is not a kind of play to say. It is not exaggerating. Maybe someone say, do not say me this. I want to keep forever this situation. No? I think this is stupid. Never. Maybe it's the common, the Swedish statement. Maybe it's stay long time, this kind of great situation. But for our individual, you know, for example, today we are meeting here, someone said, oh, I met you 15 years. Someone said 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Then you think, wow, years like this. And for example, I'm born in this human realms, and then it's like I spent 55 years. But I don't know. Everything is like dream. Everything is like kind of hallucination. It's a mirage. What kind of I done during the 50 years? If I count the 50 years, 55 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need times, you know, 55 years. Then I can to say it's like months, days. I think I cannot have time to count to that. This is I spend it to hold these durations. But it's just now it's just 1 second. It's like kind of dreams. If I prepared something, good things for the next step, this is okay. I'm going to future. No future, but I'm going to future. And then it's like future is going to good or bad. Everything is that depends on what I prepared. It's obviously we can to say. For example, in our lifestyle, if I'm never to prepared for the food, clothes, financially, things, and every day I did funny things, then it's slowly more worse, more problems. Who can to give food to me? Who can give clothes? Who can to like kind of guarantee in the next maybe lives? If I'm lucky, maybe I can to stay a few years. And during these few years, if I didn't prepare nothing on the past, and then it's a horrible life in the future maybe years. But if we can to prepare something financially, food, clothes, shelter, everything, okay, even if I'm lucky stay 100 years, okay, I don't need to ask someone, say, could you help me? I can do it because I prepared something. And the same way that is our like doing things in the mentally or spiritually, we normal to say the accumulation merit, positive things. And positive things, we are doing things, preparation of the next step. For example, yesterday we were talking about the 10 positive actions. If we can to say is to stop the killing things, and it's making more and more life, and more or less like kind of sickness, and more in the future, more rebirth, good things. You know, even though now more sciences, like you, is like more caring to others, more to stop the killing things, and changing something in the brain, and in the future, so more lesser sickness, more lesser like kind of many there things. Exactly, stealing, doing sexual misconduct, same as these 10 negative things. If we stopped 10 positive things, big preparation for the next steps. And same as other things, to generate compassion, develop the, like wisdoms, and to do something. Now when we are going to next word, tomorrow is next word. It's not today word cannot go to tomorrow. Why I'm saying out of big word, maybe our imaginations we think it's a big, it's a huge, surely it's impermanent. We look at our own individual, our word. We cannot keep this today our body speech tomorrow. Because if we can quit, then if we can keep, then we can to keep our body speech, this other fresh body forever. But impossible. Today body is today, changed. Tomorrow is a similarity we will get. And you know, it's like when we look at the pictures sometimes, it's unbelievable things. When you child, adult, now, sometimes I'm looking, it says, I think I'm changing. And then it's more and more to stop, go to in the front of the mirror, and it doesn't want to make a picture, you know. I want to keep imagine my young age face. And like this is like changing process. And then it's cannot to keep like this. And then it's next I'm saying, of course, maybe sometimes difficult to talking about karmas. Means it's like kind of causalities. Causality is the preparations. Whatever we prepared is a result, is the next step. That is the obvious. Sometimes we say our actions. This one we talking about breakfast, just a few hours ago. Breakfast, first time you work in the kitchen, and that's the action, causalities. Holding that, then on the table you have really breakfast. If you haven't got any action, causality actions, then there's on the table there's no breakfast, obvious. And therefore, this during life preparations we are doing because of the causalities. Doing good things, according to the causalities, result good things. And doing bad things, according to the causalities, bad result. That is the self-responsibilities. It is not for the God, benefit of God, not benefit for the Buddha, not benefit for the teachers. If our own individual to say is a self-benefit, we say the positive and negative things, and follow the causalities, doing the positive things, stop the negative things. it's a preparation for the next steps. I think this is like very much our own self-responsibilities. For example, in the Buddhist perspective, happy or not happy totally depends on our own self, not depends the God or the Buddha or others. Maybe God or others can give us conditions, give conditions, but it is not fully depends them. It's the happy or sorrow is fully depends on our own individual self. Therefore, Buddha, he says, your guider is yourself. Your protector is yourself. You need to make liberation yourself. He says, Buddha, he said, I cannot take away your suffering by my hand. I cannot wash your obscuration by water. You need to clean up yourself. I give you some methods, how I did. If you use these methods, you can do it yourself. If I can, or if I could, if I can, I would like to do it, Buddha, he said. Immediately, 1 second, I can take all the suffering of the Buddhas, the sentient beings. I can to wash immediately all the obscuration of the sentient beings. That is my wish, that I can, if I can, but who can to do it? Obviously, to see in the worldly, there's how many sentient beings are suffering. If Buddha, Bodhisattvas, God, or any deities, they have power, can do it, then we need to request, to say, ask, please, all those suffering sentient beings, make it quickly liberate. If they don't, they haven't got any compassion. Obviously, that is big problems. And therefore, our own individual responsibilities, like a kind of to be healthy or to be sick, and most times our own individual, of course, depends on our own responsibilities. That is when we born, we be in the Bardo of the Bardos. Very, very important. One is like we need to go next, and sometimes we say, same when we're going to sleep, and after, as I said, dissolutions into the mind diluted into the mind, the ground mind, and the wake up in the dream world. Between there is, we are going to alone, our own self. Maybe it's like you sleep your partner. Maybe you round sleep in one house, you hold your families, friends, and you say, I'm very afraid for the night smell, night mail, yes, you say night mail. And maybe I cannot sleep. Can you come into my dream? Can I go with you into my dream? Impossible. And this is impossible. Like sand. One day maybe it's a big going to sleep, we call the disintegrate. Or maybe it's like kind of to living from this world. And that moment is without any friend, difficult. We can do obviously, we're talking about impermanent things in the hospitals. Maybe it's the company of the hospital to say, now your cars need to put here, you need to go away. And that moment is like a kind of doctors, maybe it's those doctors are the Buddha medicine, like Buddhas, but they cannot do nothing. And there's medicine is such a great medicine, it doesn't work. And all the family friends coming to theirs, something is we need to depart from this world. And they can't do nothing, they just surround, to make tear, or say maybe what can we do? Impossible. I mean, it's my own experience. For example, my mother and fathers, both died. And my mother especially died, she's in my lap. What can I do that moment? It's already like kind of like time of the departure. Of course, I like very much to keep my mom until as much or as long as much. but impossible. And we invited many different doctors. We tried to get many different medicines. So at a certain point, it's impossible. Need to change. At that moment, of course, through her process of the Bardos, I want to go with her. But I'm just only to tell to her some kind of pity instructions of the Rinpoches or the masters. And that is, I'm just to tell them how I can to go with her to make the person, how do you say, companion or the friend. To say, I'm your son, I'm going with you. No, this is outer dissolution, inner dissolution, and the separation of the mind and the bodies. And she going to next step of the Bardos. At that moment, she needs to manage. And same as the fathers. And this, of course, when I obviously to see that, and this will give me such education, I need to also prepare something, need to kind of preparation set. That moment is like difficult to have peace, very much sufferance, because we have great desire, attachment, and these appearances, and maybe desire, attachment, clinging to family, your position, and things. Someone says, I have such money in the bank, I cannot live. Who will they going to take? I have beautiful house, I cannot leave from my house. Who will take this my house? I have beautiful clothes. Even sometimes says, I have 100 shoes. I didn't use to them. I need to use to them. You know, departure times cannot to say that. Like I was saying yesterday, when I enter into the aeroplane, they separated to go to this, you know, the gate and this aeroplane. At that moment, I cannot go back. And this pilot says like, oh, I forgot something, you know, my wallet or my passport, something blah, 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 blah. Pilot's already close, sorry. You should fly to the Gothenburg, then if you want to something, need to go back. Now it's aeroplanes already there. And same as like this, at that moment, departure times, it's like whatever we have in this world is nice appearances. We have such clinging, of course. Sometimes we say, I have beautiful partner, I have beautiful family, I cannot leave them. Please help me, say, how they can help. And it's, I mean, it's a kind of educations, some this kind of. Once I was in London, in the television, there's one young lady, every week she's coming on the television, fashion show, clothes. Very beautiful. They said she's very rich, young, maybe it's like under the 30 years old. And 1 month after that, they said she's showing still in the television. They said, I think she's problem. She has something sickness. And certainly they say you should go to hospital. You should go to hospital. And then she went. She said it's all okay. And she went, and then they discovered some big cancer in somebody. Next week, next month, there's no television. They're all in the newspaper. And she has this. She has 2 kids and wonderful husband. They say it's a very rich lady. And then it's like next month, she went in the hospital and took this medicine, horrible medicine. How do you call that? This he can't recall that. Chemotherapy. And she lost all her hair, and the journalist hasn't got any compassion. And they go to in the hospital and take a picture and put it in the newspaper. And she's crying, and she asked to the doctor, say, can you help me? Who can help me? I can to offer what you want. And husband is running around, 2 kids is crying. But nobody cannot to stop. After the 2 months, she died. Who can to stop in this perspective? And she needs to go to the next day, next life. And that this kind of like, it's a, you know, It's difficult to have great refuges and without protections. Like kind of like that moment's relatives, husbands, families, and everything is like kind of beyond and cannot to help. And it's like kind of lonely. And also it's like more and more kind of away, fading away this in our this beautiful appearances. For example, this lady first is like she has excellent appearances, her perspective, famous, beautiful. Every time is people looking into televisions, and also it's like others are also very happy and still looking. And she look at around, wonderful appearances. She has a good appearance of families, a good appearance of the husband, good appearance of house, everything. And that is like that moment is like kind of fading away. And it's difficult to live from those appearances. And also maybe it's like kind of she's going to different realms. Maybe we don't know next steps. Buddhist peoples, difficult to believe in this like kind of human evolution. Very difficult to accept that. But they accept the big evolution after that we are like kind of departed. Maybe next times we can get which kind of car. We don't know, we can get again human car, or animals, or birds, or any kind of. We don't know really, we are going to different realms. And also sometimes we are entering into the different darkness, same as the dreams. You know, it's like a kind of a feeling, it's like a kind of great, like holes. We don't know really, if we don't recognize our own individual appearances, same as now. And that is like a kind of sometimes feeling is like we are going to the dark, thick forest and a dangerous path. And this kind of like a path, and then is who can to protect to us? We need strength in our mind. We need realization in our mind. We need something preparation on the past. And that moment, maybe some positive things are become our guide. You know, it's like some preparation. We prepared something, and then that moment, the propelling kind of maturation is there, and then maybe it's like easily to recognize something is like front, and then it's like it's maybe it's the marvelous things. I mean, it's like pithy instructions. It's become a very great guide. And I'm making the joke, for example, once, I told already you, once I was in the nomad place, and I'm begging food. And some monks, they have lack of the food, they are begging, you know. I was a little problems of food and begging. One family says, okay, in the evening, I cannot go to more further. I ask to say, can I stay tonight in your house, in the Yaktan? They accept, you are welcome. And that moment is really in Tibet, people, they respect monk very much. Now it's change. And they are very happy, they like put me very high, nice bed. But I don't know, my feelings, first time I'm entering this yak tent, I'm very much scared of the grandmother. Grandmother is very kind, but my imagine something. It's during the dinner times, I'm shaking, and I don't know, something scary. And then I went to sleep bed and slept. Impossible to sleep. Like if I take away my sleep bag, I'm cold, and looks like grandma's coming. I'm going to look like eat. And cloth covered my sleep bag, and then I'm in the sauna. Like kind of waters come. 1 or 2 o'clock, enter like this, and then suddenly something help it kind of like, I don't know, sleep or something. And then I remember one in the Guru Rinpoche's PT instructions. When you died, you have many different self-appearances. Guru Rinpoche says, do not need to be afraid. That is your self-appearances. Your mind is like kind of indestructible mind. Even the world is exploded, your mind is deathless. Who can take it? And these ones like coming into my mind, completely released. Not Guru Rinpoche, but this word is coming. And I'm wake up, my body is still shaking, water is everywhere. But fear is completely gone. Completely. Even girl grandmas make joke, whoa, I'm nothing afraid. Mind is a complete peace and happy, sleep, but the body is still, you know, on the bed, lot of water. And then it's 4 o'clock, I slept very well. Then I thought, wow, it's PT instructions. PT instructions to really make that moment is this PT instructions. Just a small fear, small problems. And whole night, maybe I'm afraid, scary, maybe in the afternoon, maybe I was going to sick, maybe I have problems. But just this make release my fear. And then it's a peace. I'm so relaxed. And then it's like kind of all these fears were gone. As this kind of PT instructions, preparations, positive things. You know, there's all the times, for example, positives, we prepared something, meditations during the weekend to say, and keep the 10 positive things, like give away the negative things. And generations, you know, there's a 6 transcendent. And we did like this kind of, even though we have appearances, peace, body of the enlightened, maybe something is like positive appearances occurring, and it can help to us very, very much. And like these symbolic things has come. Like this, our path, you know, there's one teacher, I think stronger, which he said is like, when we be on the one path without plant, you know, it's like on the path, but there's no plant where we will reach, where we need to stop. We don't know which kind of dangerous road, but there's no choice. We need to go through that. This sometimes is not really exaggerated, you know, that is the telling the truth. Is we can to look really to sincerely, honestly to check. And day and night, how it is our way. There is positive and negatives. Is this really true or not true? For example, sometimes non-Buddhist or some people think karma is like the same as the God or something controller to us. Not like this. Causal movement. Causality. Causality means there is a cause, 100% is a result. There's inevitably a result. For example, barley. This is making the produce, the result is barley. Barley seed never produce the rice. But why not? But this is like kind of, this is like realities. And negative, all the time result negative, sufferings. Positives, positive all the time is a happy result, the good. And this is, we need to study, we need to learn, we need to, as often the Buddhist scripture to says, if you call the positive, maybe not as positive. You should to learn, you should to discriminate, you know, to make the distinction really positive or not. For example, worldly, in the Buddhist perspective, if someone's killing, to say, that is my positive, you know, I'm not sure it is positive. Maybe it's like sometimes wrong way, wrong understanding, wrong follow, wrong something. You killing, destroying, and stolen things. If this person say that is my positive, maybe it's not really positive. Maybe it is not a kind of virtuous. And that is like to analyze, really is like a good medicine, or good food, good positive, good like virtuous, what it is. That is the necessary. That is like when we are something departure times is really amazing kind of help. And then it's during when we be in the path, how do you say, be in the Bardo of the birth, we need to call through your own teacher or Buddha and Bodhisattvas to say, please give me manual instructions with your sandwiches. Stop.
5 minutes break. 10 minutes pause.
And also, when this is arousing for us, the appearances of the Bardo of the birth, we need to abandon such laziness, because there is not much time to go under the laziness. We cannot destruct it. Our body, speech, mind, in order to follow the path of listening, reflecting, and meditating. That is the most important. And why we need to listen? Because we need to know about what is really positive, what is really negative, how we can to prepare preparations for the next steps. And we need to listen about the Bardo of the birth, and also we need to listen what we need in these durations, and rely on spiritual friend to ask, to teach to us what is really positive, what is the really negative, which is the cause of happiness, to receive happiness more and more, which kind of cause of the sufferings, in order to make a lesser and lesser sufferings. And therefore, it's very important to listen. And also to listen what is the really realities to study. Generally speaking, most humans go under the laziness, and most times spent like different way. And then is we lost the time, because reality, these durations very short. I mean, it's like born and departures. Each moment, each second, each month, each years, near and near. The opportunity to be in this Bardo the birth is lesser and lesser. How we can to add You know, there's one Buddhist master called the Shantideva. He said, in this situation, how I can to add my life in order to stay more longer, day and night, months, years. The duration of the bardo of the birth is shorter and shorter. I cannot to make more extended. And if this duration, this periods, if I don't do nothing, positive things or preparations, what can I do next times? And he says, I appreciate very much periods of my life. Why? Because maybe it was a good person or good being, did something good. The preparation was good. According to that, he said, I'm reborn in human beings, called the Shantideva, extraordinary family, extraordinary situation. In this life, I received the teaching, I studied very well, and I'm become enlightened. I'm appreciative of this period's life. Then when he was young, he says, I need to do in this life in order to make the benefit of next person, or next being, or next life, next situations. Therefore, to listen, to study, very, very important. Buddhist perspective, or whoever followed the Buddha's steps, he already give these freedoms. He said that, I'm telling to you truth. It is truth or not truth. You should to analyze. If it is a truth, you can to follow the truth's result truth. And the truth's making the happy. And therefore, whatever he says, we need to analyze. Therefore, whatever we undertake, any activity of the body, speech, mind, very important to analyze, reflect on that. It is really good or not? Is it really positive or not? Really, am I on the right path or wrong path? That is very important. Study, listen, reflect, contemplate. And also meditate it. Through the meditations, we need to change our directions. Through the listen, we need to change. We need to change our directions. Through the reflections, we need to change our directions. Maybe if our direction is correct, of course we don't need to change. But most are difficult to say, follow the good directions. They are not badly going the wrong directions, but according they ignorant, they no choice. Sometimes they all the time follow the wrong directions. Therefore we're talking about listen, to study, reflect, contemplate, or meditate, cultivate. And first when we study, listening about the 10 positive actions, or compassions, emptiness, views. And second, through the reflections, or reflecting, or contemplate, it is correct, this meditation, this compassion, this wisdom, this emptiness, this kind of virtues. Through the logically, through the direct valid cognitions, to establish the correct. You know, like same as our food. When we buy the food, we are checking. We can't do any kind of growing things. But first time we listen, which grains can eatable, which grain cannot eatable. And then ourselves to reflect on this grain. Oh yes, that grain cannot eat. This grain can eat. This grain is more healthy, more benefit to my body. Reflect it very well. Then it's the meditation. You eat to concerning this food, you eat, continue, you tasting. Delicious on the mouth. And also you focus on that. It's kind of through the meditations. Your body is more and more healthy. Like this, through the mentally. First time to research which is the food for the mentally, positive or negative. Actions, activities of the body, speech, mind, include mind, movement of the body, movement of the world, movement of the mind itself. And some movement is positive. That is the food for mind. Mind needs more eat. And this positive food, healthy food of the positive, first mind listener from the qualified teacher or great wise intelligence, Buddha and Bodhisattva, your own teachers. Second, mind reflected. I'm going to eat or not. Then mind discovered, it's a truth. This positive I can eat. And then afterwards, mind testing. That we call the meditation. Food of the compassion, wisdom, emptiness. Food of the six transcendent. That mind going to eat more and more. Mind become more healthy. Mind can more clean. Mind maybe can become completely free from any kind of sickness or disturbing emotions. And through that, this eating positive food of the virtues. And therefore, when we be in the Bardo, birth, we need to do something. If we don't do nothing, then it's like there says, empty hand returns. In the text say, empty hand return back. That means someone is the first time certainly a reach in the gold sand island. And marvelous, everywhere is gold. You can't find that normal sand. Maybe this person do not recognize, think, maybe it's normal. Surely everywhere is gold sand. This person never collects, nothing. And certainly he moved to different island. He arrived there, someone's like talking about gold, it's very expensive. For sand is all the gold, he said. No. You been in the gold land? Yes, I've been. Gold, of course, gold sand. Did you took something? No, I thought it's everywhere is like this. No. Then he started researching to looking around, all the sands, normal sand. Impossible to catch something. Like this, when we be in the gold land of this human land, we need to pick up some gold land, gold sand of the virtues. It's such benefit in the next. If we collected some gold sand of the virtues, next we be in the normal sand land, no problem. We collected. We are not empty hand returned in the normal sand island. And therefore in these times it's very important. In the text says, you need to take the responsibility yourself. It is the truth. And sometimes we say it's like, it's a teaching times or practice times or like meditation times. Any times normally we say, oh, I'm coming for you. Or tomorrow I cannot go to their meditations. Sorry for it. Nobody is sorry. If this person don't need to study, don't need to listen, don't need to meditate, it's not necessary to go to death. When we are studying, when we are reflecting, when we really to doing something positive things, benefit, it is our own individuals, realities, absolutely. For example, we take the organic food, eating organic, taking care all the time health. It's supporting our own self. Which kind of benefit? For example, I say, I'm eating organic food for you. I'm taking care of my body for you. It's very strange. Or now I'm healthy, you should become healthy. It's impossible. And like this, but taking the self-responsibility and to do something. Of course, there's one Buddhist master, Dzogchen Rinpoche. We are living in democratic countries. We don't need to follow any others. Whatever we want to do. And we want to become alcoholic, we want to become a drug addict, we want to become any religious. He says, today I'm wearing like kind of white cloth, something, I'm a Hindu. Tomorrow I'm wearing string, I'm a Muslim. Day after tomorrow I'm become Christianity. Day after tomorrow I'm Buddhism. I can do it, whatever I want. But it is such as a benefit or not? To kind of, he has thousands happy students. Beginning his make joke, they say, finally, happy is good, freedom, whatever they want to do. But sometimes happy's life is difficult. You put everywhere jewels, even the secret areas. And people to see that, please don't come into my office. Difficult to get jobs. But to be honest, something is benefit for yourself. And what is the benefit? Of course you can to kill all the times. Of course you can do all the time stolen. Of course you can do all the time doing sexual misconduct. But the result, it's what? The result of the sorrow, sufferings, not going to the God, not going to the Buddha, not going to the Lamas, is coming to on your shoulder. And can you take the responsibilities? Therefore, normally to taking the self like kind of responsibility in this duration times, when we be in the path of, the time of the Bardo of the birth. And also it's like developing the appearances, mind, as the path. Like kind of like in the authentic way of the same. Actualize the three kayas, bring into the path. What does it mean? Three kayas, bring into your path. Very strange. Why you say like this? That's the most profound pity instructions. How you can to bring into the three kayas. Three kayas, normally we say it's like something someone's Buddhist. It's just not. It is the realities. All the phenomena, empty nature aspect is the kaya of the Dharma kaya. Luminosity aspect, all the things, whatever existed in the samsara nirvanas, it is the representative of the Sambhuka kayas. And there is a function. For example, water is the Dharma kaya symbolic, Sambhuka kaya symbolic, but also it is the Namana kaya symbolic, because when we take water, can take away a thirsty. There is a function. Fire can to burn, earth can to hold it, air to move. This energy function, it is the representative of the Namanic Kayas. How we can to recognize that, how we can to understand that, we need to follow the qualified spiritual teacher properly to receive pity instructions. How I can to actualize or cultivate the three kayas when I take it into the path, my path. Each individual phenomenon has or in doubt with three kayas. how I can to understand that? That is the most important during the birth of the Bardos, to bring into the path appearances and the mind. Bring into the mind appearances into the path. To actualize the three kayas, or cultivate the three kayas, develop the three kayas, want to realize the three kayas, the essence nature of the realities. That is the most important. Pit instructions. Essence progressively. Each individual particle, atoms, or aggregations. Permeated. Endowed this nature of the reality, essence. That is each individual phenomenon. Doesn't matter samsara or non-aranas. Natural realities. Normally we say natural realities. What it is? Difficult to understand ourselves. We need to follow 100%. I'm saying it's like these days world is very small. To research, to do benefits for yourself. Absolutely research. Just to kind of our Western ideas say, I want to follow myself. Simple, easy. To be enlightenment, not easy, simple. Even we need to make the one hamburger. How much we need to put effort. Even the small coffee latte or coffee cappuccinos or coffee, how much we need materials, things, times, we need to put effort. To be enlightenment, of course it's not easy. And also when we doing the coffee, tea materials, when we make the tea, these materials can make the coffee. Maybe yes, but not suitable. You need to say when you make coffee, you need to coffee machine, coffee material. There is coffee cup. It's necessary to like. It's a small things like this to be enlightenment. Also, there are some conditions. It's circumstances. It's necessary, and therefore. I'm saying it's like kind of, sometimes it's a beginner Buddha Dhammas coming, and also we are democratic countries. Sometimes it says, difficult to follow the lamas, and I want to like really kind of on my own ways, and maybe I will buy books, maybe I can to study myself. Maybe it's good, but maybe more correct way. I'm saying he is developing a precious mind as the path. What does it mean? It is something you need to put instructions from someone has this experience to study it. And also it's like actualize three kayas. How? Maybe it's three kayas permeated everywhere. Even you look at these flowers, you can to say how there is the three kayas. Doesn't matter materials or mind, animate or inanimate. Three kayas, like kind of reality of the true nature. Like we can treat the science perspective, particle, antiparticle, electronic, these three things are unseparabilities. And these three things separate, they cannot produce something, nothing else. This is kind of scientific approaches. These three things. Any atoms, particles, has these three things. I'm asking, make joke. Particle, it has particles, particle, or particle, it has empty particle, electricity. You know this, I mean, it's like there's three things. This is particle, this is empty particle, this is electronic. I'm pick up the electronic. Electronic itself, it has a particle, antiparticle? No, then this one is missing particle, it's not particle. This empty particle, it has particle or part or electricity. No, it says no, this is only the empty particle. Then it's very strange. Even doesn't matter, it has three, it has three, three. Together there's 9. You choose to say 3 inseparability of the particles and particle antiparticles. Each one has should to be the 3. 3, 3, 9. But also particle, it has particles, particles, antiparticle, particles and electricity. And you divide, and then it's go to slowly, and then finally is the black hole. No choice. And the Buddhist perspective is the empty natures. But that is in the empty nature reality. There is kind of as an empty nature, symbolic luminosities. Yesterday I said this flower comes from, of course, basically empty nature reality, but luminosity perspective. Any kind of appear and shape, color, nobody's arranged. Naturally occurring there is. And it has function. To yellow, petals, and the smells, there has a function. This is like kind of energy. And this kind of representative of this Namanikaya. That how we can to actualize, realize, finally, that is the very, very important. And once we have obtained the great this human body, we obtained in the human life, when we be in the bardo of the birth, we cannot time to rest on the path of the destructions. Absolutely. We all the times go to under the destructions, carrying this and that. I today cannot do nothing. I need to do like this, that. And today is not possible tomorrow. Tomorrow is same as the situations or the day after tomorrow. Not this week, next week. Not this month, next month. Not this year, but next year. Not this decade, but next decade. Then it's slowly like postponed, and then it's like it's very much carried the great opportunities, like kind of under the destructed way. And therefore, when we is to be in the bardo of the birth, and we should do something, positive things in the books, in the scripture of the Buddhist, and Padmasambhava's instruction of the bardo, they say it is very important. This is the root of the anodous bardos. This is like the other bardos, how we can to control. Most important is this present, current, our bardos, bardo of the birth. For example, in the bardo of the birth, during the day, your meditation, doing positive things, good. Then you in the dream is become good. And also it's like during the day, you're doing some good positive things. Work with the bardo of the meditations. Then maybe in the dream is very good. Dream is good. Then next the bardo of the death coming, intermediate bardos become very good. Therefore, it's like kind of the hate or the root of the bardos right now in this bardo of the birth. And very much in the Pip instruction says, very, very important. Do not follow the path of the destructions like this. I think the lunch is they're calling to us. Really, we have 10 minutes, but also maybe we can just stop. We have freedom, no problem. And okay,
Say something.
lunch is ready. It's very strange, yes. We meet two guys. They talk in Spanish 20 minutes. One reading.
Very happy I could hear you now when I'm here. So it's
Okay. Can you hear me?
no.
Now? Can you hear me?
I think so, yes.
Okay. I will loudly to say something funny things. Okay. I think it's very important to generate compassion, good citta. But they are Buddhists. Today I'm not Buddhist. I don't want to pray. Because we are talking about some, how do you say, duration, or I mean it's like phonetically to say in Tibet, Bardo. Bardo means it's like between. Between in this, between what you're going to do. Between is like weekend or Saturday, Sunday, what are you going to do? I'm not going to do nothing, only want to sleep. I really say yes. But also sleep is a big job, yes? Not easy. I mean, it's between there is one we be, it's like kind of between middle way or middle. It is like really our life, as I said. Not past, not future, present. It is really alive. Alive. And this morning we said, we would like very much, we would like very much, I don't know. We would actualize the three kayas, we said, through the path, the development of appearance and mind. And in order to realize the three kayas, when during the bardo of the birth, that means right now, in this situation, in this life. And to bring or develop appearances, develop the mind, that is the most important. Appearances, how we can to develop through the mind. How we can to develop it. Generally, when we look at the appearances, we consider there is something existence. How I can to make more nice, fantastic. Yes, you can, but it is not really definitive or the ultimate, the cause of happiness is not that. Like appearances appear, but essential nature is like kind of rainbow, dream, hallucination. More across, more approach, it's difficult to find some substantialities. And then how we can to develop ordinary way to develop, like to all to change new things, more change, more something is like to develop. This is development. Yes, it is development. Just ordinary, normal language perspective. But these developments bring happiness? Some in case, yes, but not really realities. Certainly something unpleasant circumstances arrive in our mind. That moment, those outer developments, not very much help. And that moment is like more trouble in our mind. Then how we can to develop our appearances. Appearances also has the true nature realities. Why you say that? Because without nature realities, appearances of the things, they need to fix it. Big is all the time big, small is all the time small. Good is good, all the time bad is bad. But not like this. Big we can make small, small we can make big. And this is like very much dependent each other. Big, small, good, bad things. There's nothing kind of truly existence. Something is all the permanently good, something is all the time permanently bad. Just kind of relatively our own perceptions, what you perceive. And then we can analyze more. In the Buddhist perspective, first we need to analyze. Why? Because may we think we are completely rely on outer appearances. Outer appearances is like really our life, our food, house, or source of the happiness. Then we need to analyze more, to approach. But that is not really truth. As I said, something in the mind, some problems, like unpleasant circumstances, something occur, outer something, good things, doesn't help. Billionaires sometimes, certainly something happened, outer things of the billion things, monies, house, difficult to help. If some sickness or some bad circumstances, in that moment, mind itself, how it can deal with those outer development appearances of material things. In this perspective, to develop appearances development, inner minds, how I can to minds can understand the outer appearances. When we listened to the sound of the cuckoo and sound of the frog, and then how we can to make distinctions. Generally speaking, cuckoo is so nice sound. I don't know in Western, in Tibet, cuckoo is so fantastic. And the frog is singing, wow, ugly animals are singing. But then it's realities. Just to making the mind, this object of this true sound itself is, which is like pleasant, which is not unpleasant, we don't know. Some beings heard sound of the frog, fantastic, extraordinary, happy. Remove those can hear the cuckoo sound, may be hated. All of this. Therefore, outer. Then is how mind to approach to analyze. And Buddha, he said that all the phenomena are like a rainbow, like hallucination, like a kind of magic illusion, and also it says echoes. You more approach, more become far. You more approach, it's going far. And finally, nothing to find in your hand. Like a rainbow. When you look at the rainbow, beautiful, wonderful. You more close, more far, more close, more. You run after them, disappear. This kind of, like a little bit our appearances. In the English language, sometimes appearances, perception. I think we need to make the distinction between this. When we say the perception is the inner mind picture. For example, say some scripture say, when I look at this flower, and I'm seeing the flowers, what are you seeing flower? You're seeing flower, this is not flower. This is something else. It's also sometimes self-appearances. Then this self-appearance, my appearance is my mind. They said yes, and this perspective, this is my mind. No. Because this is nothing else here. What you are seeing things inside, you have vivid ideas. That is flowers. Maybe even some beings called this pillar, or maybe this ball is like it is flowers. And oh, this is flower. I'm looking at flowers. Whatever someone wants to exaggerate to give them the name, and then we think that is the. But really, inside you have picture. According to this picture, you can perceive appearances. And therefore, appearances, how we can develop it, how these appearances bring into the three kayas. Three kayas, Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nimanikayas, how permeated, how endowed. You can see this flower appearance, how is endowed with these three kayas. And that is here it says, actualize the three kayas through the development of the appearances of the mind. That is the most important in this life. For really you concerning the mind. Through that we can to get our mind, the power to the mind, strength into the mind, realization in the mind. Through this development, through this path, this through actualization of three kayas. And mind become maturated, got the strength, realization. It doesn't matter. Wherever you go, whatever you do, whatever appear, whatever occurring into our minds, mind actualize the three kayas. And any phenomena of the samsara nirvanas cannot go beyond these three kayas. Never, ever. Three kayas is the base principle of true nature reality of the samsara and nirvanas. if we actualize the three kayas, Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, Namankaya, then everything is like kind of equanimity, tranquility. We say it's like the great equals, equal of the samsara and nirvana, equal of the positive and negative, equal of the good and bad, equal of the everything. And therefore, we need to realize or actualize the three kayas. That is the most important, you say. Later. And also, as once we obtain the Bardo of the birth, and a little bit we need to reduce as much as reduce our destructions. Destruction of the mind, body, speech. And that means reduce some a little bit the activity of the body, speech, mind, which is more meaningless things. Very, very important. And therefore, there's not like a kind of time to rest on the path of the destructions. And we completely, our mind lost in the object of the appearances, and just to develop outer kind of appearances, maybe a lot of destructions. But here is maybe we can to say inner, maybe once how we can to develop to all outer appearances, to recognize self appearances. As I said, this true sound of the frog cuckoos. This sound is good about the sayer, here, or the everything is the mind itself. But the good sound, bad sound, who can to say? The mind itself saying. And then it's like to turn inward, to look at the mind itself, to develop, that is the best. Inner changing the mind perception, picture. You know, normally mind is the great photographer. Each moment is making picture. And also it's like it has not only one, like zoom. Normal camera has only one zoom, yes? How do you call it? Zoom. But mind, it has more than 5 zooms. Through the ear zone, nose zone, tongue zone, eye zones. And of course body, each moment making picture. And it can install into the basic consciousness. This morning I said liar. Normally we have 8 consciousness. Principal consciousness, the consciousness of the ground, universal. All the consciousness is like kind of like a part of that. Like we say eye consciousness, nose consciousness, ear consciousness, tongue consciousness, mental consciousness, 6, emotional consciousness or conscious, 7, the consciousness of the ground. This in the ground, if you really to study, you can to divide 3. One is there is we call the store rooms. Memory card is there. And all the habitual forming importance saving there. And this is like kind of in the base of our consciousness. And from that there is delusions part aspect. There is like sensual nature realities is there. They are like kind of inseparably. Then is all the memory card there, all the pictures there, good picture. This mind of the photographer is very bad organized. To make each moment making picture, put there in the storerooms. Inside a machine, you know, it's machine. In this machine, they are turning around all the times, and these pictures is going around. And these pictures coming each doors and shine out, like the mind is, the storeroom mind is like sometimes become projectors. To project, there's not good picture, and outside is a very bad picture. The picture of the hell, picture of the hungry ghosts, picture of the animals, picture of the samsaric picture. And once suddenly you change, something is nice. But now, in the Bardo of the birth, we are recite the mantra, meditating, and prayers, doing the accumulation merit, positive things to stop the negative things. That means we are cleaning up these storerooms to make the organized. Generally speaking, we say, I want to purify my negative obscurations. That means mind itself can't go to in this storeroom. No Buddhist, nothing, Buddha, God, dead, nobody cannot enter. Mind itself can go inside. Mind is can to clean up, to tidy up, some bad pictures to delete, to get rid, and good pictures to put, tidy up, very nice. And we are doing now that. And slowly, slowly, in the Buddhist scriptures, they're talking about paths, bhumis. That means every day your office or the storerooms getting better and better. Then these storerooms turning around, each in the windows, doors is like coming some pictures, nice. Maybe getting better and the pictures coming, perception of the pictures. One day, completely tidy up. All the old dirty pictures you deleted, clean. There's nothing anymore. That moment, mind is become more precise photographer, good organized photographer, and itself to clean up these storerooms. And then mind is all the time perceive very nice appearances. That moment, even you want to perceive something bad things, never in your perspective. And that is the big development. That is the development. And that is the necessary. And beginning, when we want to clean up or purify, you know, in the Buddhist scripture they say purifications, purified. And beginning to clean up, you need to put effort, a little bit, to be diligent. You know, holiness to say all the time. Beginning, you need to put effort. Slowly, 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 you less put effort. Maybe one day you clean up your storerooms completely organized, excellently, magnificently done, then you completely put into rest. Then these machines turn around. Absolutely. You have perception inside the picture. You have appearances of the according that. That is the we call the appearances of the nirvana. Nirvana's appearance, you don't need to develop. Already the root itself developed. Whatever appeared, we call the pure land. Extraordinary. Through the according to your mind is that. And therefore, how it is the really three kayas with the appearances of the phenomena. How I can to develop appearances through my mind. And also it's like how I can to develop my mind. This is the developing the mind. really essential nature of the mind, what you need to develop. It is go beyond the develop, go beyond. But in the luminosity, in the appearances, perceptions, perspective, we can to develop it. Absolutely, there is inevitably we need to develop. There's no choice. It's like the same as the, in the relative right now. We have go outside, we have positive plant, negative plant. Of course, why it is occurring? Through the natural realities. And all these growing things are grow up or produced by the 4 elements or 5 elements. But something's movements become the poison. Someone's become the medicinal. Why? You can't say the why. Because it's something, its movement is wrong. So basically, there's all of them, poisoned plants or the medicinal plant is a source. Original is the 5 element. The 5 elements, what is the different? But something movement is changed, then it's problems. We in the Buddhist scriptures, they're talking about when mind is moved, something confused. We call the core emergency ignorant. And there is kind of like inherent ignorant or core emergency, maybe better to say that. Core emergency, something is merged, something movement, that moment, something is confusion, it's a wrong idea is occurring. And that moment there is both occurring. Understanding, not understanding, Ripa, and it's like awareness, Maripa, ignorant. Both can occur. Once is occurring to the ignorant, then there is kind of path. We call the basically there is true. One, true natural reality. Movement is occurring times, then there is certainly true path. Samsaric path and the nirvana's path. Then result of there's true kind of. Oh, that is samsaric, that's nirvana we say. But actually we can to realize that the principle, and then is doesn't matter. But the movement is, and in the relatively, we are until we realize that the 3 kayas, actualization layers of the 3 kayas, we need struggling these things, negatives, poisons. We need all the times avoid, because it's like killing to us, make problems to us. And the source of the poison, result of the poisons, as much as we need to avoid, we need to avoid. And positive cause and results, as much as we can adopt, collect, is necessary. Because it's one is part is kind of help, other part is kind of making problems. Actually realize that the 3 kayas, then that perspective go beyond for the medicinal or the poisons. There is no need to talk about everything is equal. But until there to realize that the 3 kayas, it is very important to put in an effort to analyze, to check out how to develop, how to follow the causalities. And that is very much this. And then it's like a second we can say Bardo of the dream. Bardo of dreams. Once is like a kind of arousal for us, the Bardo of the dreams. This is between when we completely sleep, start the dreams, until the when we wake up, like a candle to see, to hear in this life, Bardo of the birth. This is between maybe how many hours? Normally 8 hours, but maybe 6, 7, 4, 3, we don't know. But that moment we need to abandon the careless things. Very important. Like kind of sleep, looks like a corpse, thinking nothing, just got then that is a little bit kind of careless, looks like sleeping as corpse, like with ignorant. And not like this. It is very important, and how we can do something to make the benefit for the sleep or the part of the dreams. Through the mindfulness, and to maintain, if we can, into the natural state of the realities. Through this, we need to meditate, like a kind of night meditations. Like we say, it's like a purified delusion into clean light. And sometimes taking control of our own dreams, then we are purifying. What does it mean? Before you go to sleep, and you need to meditate, of course there's a body position, verb position, mental position, exactly the same as the three doors position during the Bardo of the birth, during the meditations. And to sleep is quite very well, like a kind of Buddhas. There's one, parinirvana's positions. To sit like this, to take these positions, to say, I'm going to now sleep, I'm going to the Bardo of the dreams, and to focus, meditate on your pit instructions, quintessential pit instructions, unmistakably you received from your own individual spiritual friend. And meditate on that, just concentratedly meditate on that, then you sleep, and then it's like kind of you are holding, kind of controlling your dreams, and your outer like these organs, faculties, diluted into this basic consciousness of the true nature realities with your meditation. Maintain in the natural state. And then you wake up in the dreams, you are still holding that, and then easily to recognize the awareness, easily to recognize about the dreams. Through that, then you can dreams purified into the luminosities. Once you recognize, you can hold your dreams. You don't need to wake up. Someone said, when you practice dream yogas, when you recognize, you immediately wake up. When you recognize, you immediately wake up. Only when you wake up, you need to go again to sleep. It is not like this. Once you can control, when you dream start, you recognize or realize the dream as dreams. You do not need to wake up. Through that, then you can to make magic or meditate, and something training process there is kind of purified. You recognize your dreams. You're using the dream like a Bardo of the dreams, and then you can to see, visit, or sometimes to travel in the realms of the Buddhas, the pure land of the Buddhas, like this. And therefore, do not sleep like animals. And just without mindfulness, thinking nothing, like kind of alcoholic, or kind of like this drug addict, not like this, through the mindfulness, through the really like kind of wisdom, and also you can just through with compassions. I'm going to sleep. This sleep itself is kind of activities. These activities benefit for sentient beings, like this. very important to practice mixing sleep and direct perception of the realities. And then it's like the dreams and reality of the true natures, true mixed, looking essence of the something in the dream, whatever in the dream your appearances or sense of your faculties or the feelings, and to recognize as the three kayas. That is the big kind of, how do you say, it's like a training process. And also it's like it's a big practice, kind of mixing our like dream and the perception of the dreams with realities. And very important. I don't know, I make you sleep.
Let's do some dream yoga.
Okay. Maybe you can break 5 minutes? Okay. Thank you. We can start. Okay. We are now talking about second Bardo, the Bardo of the dreams. Once is arising the dreams for us, and also what can we do, something a little bit meaningful things in the dreams. Dream is like very much symbolic. Dream is like, I mean, it's everything is dreams. Sometimes I argue very much. Daydreams, night dreams. I say it's like there are very much similarity, not difference. Someone says no, it's not. Daydreams, daydreams. Night dreams, night dreams. And what do you think? One is like for generally, we go outside, someone we can ask, what do you think is daydream and night dreams? What is the difference? So one says one is alive, really. One is the dreams. It's dreams, dream. But it's a daydream, it's like they cannot accept, they don't want to say the daydream. But I mean, it's like more functional, more affective. It's the daydreams. And during the night dreams, it's like there are functional, there are like kind of affective, but it's difficult to do something. Of course, we are doing. It is very important to abandon the mass of the destructions and confusions in order to practice the dream yoga. As we said, when you're going to sleep, before, of course, to remember the pit instructions best. Not that, maybe we can to say, to meditate on the representative of the body, speech, mind of the Buddha, and maybe statue, maybe something, or it's like some in the tantric perspective, you are meditating on your root teacher. It's a kind of the representative of the or true nature reality, and in the above of your head, and a kind of luminosity, transparent, penetrated, open, shine, billions one luminosity. It doesn't matter shape, it is luminosity. It doesn't matter color, it's luminosity. It doesn't matter dimension, it is luminosity. For example, when you meditate that statues luminous, it is representative of the enlightened Buddhism, or art, or like kind of letters, any. to above you meditate, it's like kind of luminosity, nothing kind of substantial things. And then it's like this one is same as the before we say, kind of praying, kind of saying something. We say it's aid. Aid means it's like kind of calling. It is like a to say it's like should be representative of the compassion, wisdom, enlightened, terton, all the like somethings mixed your mind as, and this luminosity, any kind of shape, colors, and white, yellow, blue, red, green. Generally, most time they say it's like kind of luminosity is white, but it doesn't matter, luminosity. Slowly, slowly go through your central channels into your heart. Like your heart is like kind of red lotus. Why it is red? Because it's like this heart is built, blood or built up by the blood and flesh meets. And therefore it is like kind of our present heart, it is like kind of red lotus. Through your devotion or enthusiastic or like kind of inspired to practice the dream yogas, and something open your heart, this luminosity dissolved into your heart. Heart is closed, and then inside the full of the luminosity. And to maintain in that, then we need to sleep. Therefore, to say is abandon the mass of the destruction and the confusion. Distractions, before we sleep, we think it may be alcohol, delicious beer, guitar, or sometimes love stories. Wow, I did some magnificent, like romantic things. How I can to do again these things. That is the base of the confusion and destructions. We cannot to practice the luminosity of the training process of our mind in the Bardo of the dreams. And also there's confusions, because it's like we're thinking in the past, going into the future, maybe past this kind of happened, in the future maybe I will have like same as this, or bring me back. This kind of unbelievable things concerning imagination. It's confusion, it's part of the ignorance, part of disturbing emotions. And most important is, it's to enter the state of the free of the extreme of the destruction and grasping, or like kind of fixations. That is very, very important things. When you meditate in the luminosities, the shape, color is the like a Buddha's represented the Buddhist spiritual mind, or your own individual kindness, peerless, your own group teacher or something, or later. And that one is like there's nothing kind of fixated, or something is like substantial things. It's not. This one is existent, it's not existence, not existent, existing things. Go beyond any extremes, like a kind of shape, color, dimension, and these things. You can to say this and that, but there is, you can to meditate. Sometimes we say without training, your mind is training, best training process. Best meditations without meditating. You meditate, best meditation. What are you going to meditate? Just to be silent. If we say I'm meditating, what you meditate is not really meditate. If you say I'm not meditating, of course there's not meditate. Meditation is the going beyond the meditation or not meditation. That means there's no distraction, no fixation. And there is like kind of inconceivable something. When you are thinking kind of concerning the luminosities, so this luminosity is the clearly aspect, very clearly. Even if you like kind of represent Buddha's body, there's like kind of all organs, all the limbs of the body is very, very clear. But there's nothing substantial. Nature of the reality is like kind of empty, like rainbows. Rainbows we can to see, we cannot describe. We cannot talk what it is, really realities. You can't just say it's easily rainbow, but the rainbow is what? And like this kind of no fixation, no distractions, no nothing there's grasping. Like to think like this kind of meditations. And through this we need to attain a stability of the development of the luminosity aspect, completion stage of the essence of this luminosity or the dreams, and development stage and the part when we are concerned with the luminosities. For example, if you are meditating on your your individual peerless spiritual friends, to see face, organ, and limbs, everything's colored, nothing missing. And that is the development stage. And the essence nature, completion stage, there's nothing kind of substantialities existent. And also when we meditate on the Buddha's statues, of course it's Buddha's image. Everything's there clearly, absolutely, whatever Buddha's Buddhist remarkable things or the marks, everything is clearly there. That is the kind of complete development stage. Sometimes in the authentic perspective, visualizations. You have big jobs, visualize the trees of the bodhicitta or refugee bodhicitta and Guru Yogas. You put in the front of this one thunka to see these pictures. It's unbelievable things. Who can to see this kind of? In the middle of there is one deity, like a representative of your teacher or the Guru Rinpoche. Then they are sitting on the tree. Tree itself has 5 branches. Each top of the branches there are sitting something, lineages, lamas, and it's different like a Buddha and Bodhisattvas. All those things. Why we need to visualize? Very important. We call it the development stage. Because this is a changing process of our habitual patterns. For example, patterns. When we are love to electronic gadgets, like same as me, day and night I'm thinking about electronic gadgets. Where can I go to electronic shops? Which kind do I want to buy? Computer, this kind of electronic gadgets. Thinking, just like go to in the electronic gadgets, everything is like mind is, how do you say, through the eye to see everything. Mind is, they become best photographer, making pictures. I have a lot of tendencies. It's kind of like this habitual tendencies. And then is during the night, nothing dreams, only electronic things. Nothing else. Maybe sometimes I'm concerned next, maybe when I'm died, I'm reborn in some computer, in the motherboard, some in the piece of some electronic, cables or piece of something. There's a small spider or something, climb and I hope I can't reborn in the computer. This is habitual tendencies. Now we are need to changing process, development, visualizations. And one my root teacher says, begin is you are kind of funny, fun. Look at the pictures, tonkas, good tonka, good statues. It's at the moment our mind is very much sensitive. We say good is good, bad is bad, good, bad. And good things is coming into our mind is happy. Bad things coming into our mind, unhappy. Therefore, why I say the good tonkas? When you look the picture tonkas, like in the typically or especially in the Tibetan Buddhism, the tonkas, landscapes, waters, and forest, whatever clouds, like kind of skies, it's very much special. It is extraordinary, the artists, their devotees. And also in the statue itself, it's the picture of the Buddha's bodies, has such measurement, and then is a little bit like unusual human pictures. And this kind of really it existence. Maybe yes, maybe it's not. But when you look at that, first times, to look, yesterday I said, to putting into your mind. Maybe beginning you are falling in love, or beginning maybe you have eager to look at this, or maybe say, I want to become like this. Maybe you need some method to look again and again and again. Even you close your eyes, picture is there. And then without picture, and you meditate, this picture is coming back because you have tendencies. Day and night you look at this picture, and then it's slowly like familiar in your mind, and then this picture is automatically coming. Then you don't need to do something material, tonkas. You put in some place. You choose to meditate immediately. Oh, this structure or the designer of this coming. And then you can to start to concern it. You see the whatever like things. That is like kind of refugee trees or something is like Pure Land style. And then you open your eyes, not your open eyes. The mind is coming again and again these ones. To develop more and more. Wanted to good development, and you open your eye just to look in the sky, something, but in your wisdom eye, in your mindfulness, in your concerners of this minders, to really to see in these pictures. And then in the sky, not outer sky, in the sky, there is kind of this all the deities like slowly is kind of movement occurring. Sometimes it's like kind of a half body, really like kind of speaking to you. And there is like kind of 4 appearances, direct appearance, development appearances, you say, the instructions, the path. Full is sometimes in the same as the tonkas and these structures, and then it's everything's kind of moving, dancing in your heart. And then it's really, you are changing this habitual pattern to clean. That also the big kind of changing process of the mind does, fast, quickly, particularly connected to the authentic teachings. And then it's slowly to development is cultivated. It's the best meditations. Through this, and mind is related to that, body speech has become more gentle, more calm, more kind, automatically virtue the occurrence. And of course, same times you need to do completion stage, dissolution stage or empty stage, and the expanse stages. Clearly, those inside you, what you are visualized, same time as it is like kind of nothing existence. Like word of the Buddha say forms empty. Empty is forms. It's emptiness and empty nature. It's this kind of forms there. And therefore, to train this process more and more and more. Sometimes it's like kind of inner your television, you know, inner your movie, you know, it's like a film. And day and night, you just to watching that. And then it's maybe desire. There is the kind of completion stage. And everything is dissolved to each other and dissolved into the space. At that moment, is that kind of mind is very spacious and easy. There's nothing kind of fixation, nothing kind of extremes and falling something. And that is the best, you can to say, the completion stage. Most certainly, kind of thoughts is occurring to immediately to concern the how do you say, the representative the Buddha's body, speech, or the pure lands. And this is ultimately to meditate on that. It is very important. Therefore, we say, do not go under the lazy or distractions. To each moment, develop stage and complete stage. Like development stage is the accumulation of the best merit. Completion stage is the best accumulation of the wisdoms. This is true training process. Development, completion stage, purified through our obscurations. These true obscurations occurred from that one is from the luminosity aspect, one is empty stage. This from this true occurred, like candle appeared. And also we need purified on that. Then is purified this other teachers true obscurations. Then is both empty nature essence become clean, luminosity aspect is clean, and they clean and clean, or clean and clean, and that is become one day completely all the obscurations other teachers dissolved into the itself's natural dissolve, natural state. Then there is nothing kind of left obscurations. That is we call the enlightenment. And also it's like and during this life and in the Bardo of the birth, and we come to how do you say, to do this, to practice these two things, dream yoga and the meditations yogas. And these three to combine together, we are alternately working with these three Bardos in the Bardo of the birth. And then it's like very important to be diligently and kind of as much as useless activities to abandon, and the time of the when we have got one pointedly to meditate on the this development stage and the completion stage, and during the Bardo of the dream or during the Bardo of the meditations. And during the Bardo of the dreams, more kind of training process with the luminosities, and during the meditation Bardo of the meditations, more mind developed, with the development stage and the dissolution stage. These two are very, very important, and we cannot fall into the power of the delusions or negative emotions. And also, as I say, when we be in the Bardo of the birth, very important to research and your own individual peerless teacher, and when you rely on the peerless teachers, qualified teachers, to give you lessons, how you bring all our delusions, negative emotions into the path, and how you can to mix the positive or the accumulation merit activity of development stage and complete stage with delusion, with negative emotions. And once you receive the pith instructions, and then it's all the circumstances you can bring into your path, then it's like during the 4 activities: eating times, sleeping times, and sitting times, or the talking times, any activity times, you are doing all the kind of accumulation merit, positive things, because your mind is achieved something very special through your pith instructions. And then it's even though you are doing some negative things, but maybe not negative things, it's positive. Delusion, negative emotions are also become part of your path. And that is we need to, during these 3 Bardos, the principal Bardo of the birth, then is the helper. I mean, it's like a little Bardo of the dream. Bardo of the dreams is difficult, but also we can to develop something in our mind. And then it's meditation Bardos. A Bardo of the meditations, we need to meditate on the mind, as I said, the both, and really diligently, one-pointedly, and quickly, urgently. I mean, it's we can to say, okay, I don't care. I don't care the samsara, I don't care the nirvana. I just do whatever I want. We can do it, but at a certain point, I think mind needs strength for someone to help to us, very lucky, happy, but not. Is our mind need power, strength, realizations. Without that, even if we say, I'm okay, it's it's not really. For example, some stupid boys in Tibet, combat, they have angry and they make war, they kill each other sometimes. And they use knife, and the others receive big kind of damage by the knife or guns. And this person is going to die, but how are you? It's okay now, I'm very sorry. No, I'm okay. It's not okay, going to die. But because of the anger, because of the inside challenge, yeah, I'm okay, I'm die. This is the worst. Families, itself, and it disappeared. But it's kind of, how do you say, it's challenge. I don't want to say inside sad, inside angry, inside suffering, but don't want to express outside. Yeah, what happens? But inside movement is occurring and body is collapsed. Of course, inside have something sufferings. Now what can I do? I need to do something quickly. Need to pray, meditate, recite. I'm going to die. And then, but outsidely to say, it's okay. Like this. No need to say this kind of challenges. How we can to get some power? This kind of course, normally we haven't got any bad circumstances. Some is good, luckily. I don't know to say. But anyway, there is unavoidable some things, old age, sickness, death. One day we need to go through that. Buddha, he said, I need to go through this, who can to help me? That I need to something to do urgently, quickly. Then he left from palace. And just the distracted mind by the alcohol parties and follow the entertainment and looking for the pleasures. Of course, we need some time, but most times quickly something searching for that. Therefore, we say it's like, do not go under the power of the delusion negative stage, and we need to drink coffee, teas. Okay, 5, 10 minutes. Actualize, I say this. Realize.
Yeah, but I don't really understand the whole concept. Actualize, because what does it mean? This whole concept.
It means to realize the three guys.
Which three guys and why? Why do we need to? And how do we need to? I mean, three guys.
Dhammakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Namankaya. These three things are, as I said, generally, we think it's like three different human beings or three different beings. It is not like this. Each phenomenon, each like a particle atom of the phenomenon of samsara nirvana is the natural realities, is the like three kayas. Three kaya is the qualities of the three realities. The essence, anti-aspect, it is Dharmakaya, you can say. And then it's luminosity aspect, appearing everything is Sambhogakaya. And then each particle, something appeared from the nature of the entities, is very much functional. Like as this morning I said, the water, fire, the earth, it works. Fire can burn, water can support the earth, water can take a thirst away. And this one is like this kind of three qualities to have endowed with each particles. And we understand, if we actualize that, and then it's like appearances are training, appearances is bring into the path. Mind is bring into the path, appearance is into the path to recognize the three kayas. Then, during the meditations, your meditations with three kayas, to slowly maturations, your mind is, you can to be the level of the Namankaya, level of the Sambhogakaya, level of the Dharmakaya. And also you can to manifest to really like something, form of the Namankaya, Sambhogakaya, and the Dharmakaya.
Do you become all those three at the same time? I mean, I read somewhere that we already have this Nirvanakaya, Dharmakaya.
That we are not talking. We have had at the beginningless time, that means essence, there's each phenomenon it has. But now we can't see. I can't say this is Dharmakaya. In the relative, in the ordinary perspective, this is not Sambhogakaya, this is not Namankaya. But if you really to research, we really to concern with this essence, there's nothing kind of existence. It's nothing, there's substantial things existence. But it's symbolically there is one coming, it's a luminosity aspect. But it's a function, it's can I put tea, I can to drink, this can use, it's like there's some the affective. But then this one is like we need more details, more need to study. Хорошо? Okay, and others? Do you have any questions?
Is that connected, or like when you say about Lingpa also, is it, does that have anything to do with?
Yes, also you can. And Ripa, it says like the united of these three kayas. We can do say Ripa. Ripa is permeated to the old phenomenon. Ripa is the universe. There's many different things you need to study, okay? For example, Buddha natures permeated all the phenomenon. It looks like a God. Oh, Buddha natures want things to permeate it. Not. Absolutely wrong. It means it's like each individual, your Buddha nature is your Buddha nature. My Buddha nature is my Buddha nature. My Buddha nature is not permeated you. You are not, your Buddha nature is not permeated me. But essential quality, is it your Buddha nature, my Buddha nature? Absolutely the same, not different. When someone says same, these things, there is something united things. One, in this case, Buddha is the enlightenment. Everybody needs to be enlightenment. And therefore, it's like the essence nature. And like this. Then it's like sometimes we can do say it's influence. According to the luminosity aspect. Influence, like kind of, for example, like making the conditions. For example, with this seed put in the ground, all the fertilizers not to grow up, not to become flower, but it's giving the conditions. And like this, for example, if you be enlightenment, your essential mind, maybe whoever connected to you, maybe you helping to them, maybe it's make the conditions, they can become enlightened, they say. Why I'm saying this clarifying, because for example, in our body there is millions, billions living the bacterial sentient beings. And says like when your mind is maturated, body is not yet maturated. Sometimes body maturated, the mind is not yet maturated. This kind of mind is already maturated, then its body is almost, it's no problem. But then it's all those bacteria, what is going on. Then maybe essentially your mind is being enlightened, this kind of giving condition, infections, like kind of you connected to them. And therefore we are connecting, you know. For example, why we can connect to Buddha and Bodhisattvas, and because it's like there's no connected, then there's no effect. For like sunlight. If this flowers in the cave or sun in the place, then sunlight is nothing benefit. It is sunlight is what it is. And maybe in order to grow up, it's connect to the sunlight, and then its connections is that there's circumstances. It's like kind of sunlight is not to grow up, but to give a condition in order to do, okay? Something like this. Alice? Yes.
Can I ask a question regarding Bardos? Maybe it's simple, but it's, you said Bardos is between past and present, which means that Bardo is all the time.
Bardo is the between.
It's between, so it's always.
No, it's just there's, you know, times. We are come from past, okay? No exist the past, but come from past. We are going to in the futures, okay? But future not existing, but going. But then between there is, then is our life.
And
This between we are experiencing happiness and the sufferings. That is the alive, that is the real ourself. At that moment, then what we need to do? If you need to good experience, we need past Bardos. And you did something, this result is the second Bardos is coming.
So it's until now.
Yes. And like each moment there is anyway it's like between Just make only you can see this second is like 60 seconds is going to fast one. In normal this one is 60 seconds. Normally it's like watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 60 is 1 hour, not 1 minute. It is like nowadays this one 60 second pick up. It's like I think 2000 something divided signs. They're called like a picosecond, then nanosecond. This nanosecond will be between them. Then that moment our life, that is really test. That moment need to do something. Do, and the next second is arrive or Bardo. First is become cause, second is the result. Like this, for example, past is the cause of the present. Present is become cause of the futures. That is like the sign symbolic of the like our continuations. Continuation means it's like my body is not going through that, but the mentally your mind stream is there's kind of going because of the natural realities there. Mind is going through that, and then it's like a first become cause, second kind of result, second also become present, is become cause of the next second. There's a link.
Oh, there is the, okay, now I understand it more. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And also because what I thought before was Bardo was something before the dreams, you have something where you are in between, you are awake and asleep. There is, you're not awake and you're not asleep, you're something between. I thought that was called Bardo before.
That's between. When you sleep, until you wake up, it's a Bardo of the dream. We can do sleep.
There is some thought before you get to sleep that you are something between.
In between is like below the Bardo of the birth or Bardo of the dream. There's almost nothing between there. I mean, it's like, I understand your meaning is like, when I'm coming across this one, from here to here, and you mean deep between this the border, yes? But there's, I think it's nothing there's kind of Bardo, not that, okay? Maybe there's no borders, like sometimes it's, how do you say, each moment we need border. Not only the Bardo, but between theirs. Because the changing process is there. Each moment is changing process, they need to border. Past, present, we coming, you know. Then past, present, between there's a breathing border. It's just the natural link is there.
Can I have the last one?
Yes, yes.
And the Bardo, what I also thought, was when you die, you have 49 days, which is within the
This
Bardo.
maybe we can talk tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, we left there's 2 Bardo.
Yeah.
Maybe we're going to chat tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And others? Do you have any questions? Maybe we can talk tomorrow. And refugee, she says that I need to talk, was ordered. It's like to taking refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And generally, without taking refuge, Buddha Dharma Sangha, in Buddha Dharma Sanghas, it's very difficult to really to receive properly in the Dharma teachings. And because first times, if you haven't got any devotion or it's like a faith or interest to the Buddha, and then it's like you study his speech. It's like it doesn't come into the really in your heart. And it's like first time before you take refuge, maybe check a little Buddha. I'm going to take refuge. This Buddha Dharma Sangha generally called 3 rare and sublime. It is like kind of like a Buddhist source of refuge is this 3 thing. And then it's like in Tibet we added Lama. It's like we call that taking refuge in Lama, and Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, like these three things. And then added Nama, and we call the 4 prayers of the refugees. There's such a kind of, how do you say, reasons. Of course, it's like the classification of the refuge, which is the faith and the devotions. And why we could talk about faith and devotions, and without kind of interest or trust or faith or devotions, and when we enter into the Dharma or to practice Dharma, to study Dharma, is not really is coming into our mind. It's really it's like a point. It doesn't come. First time when we take the refuge into the teacher, why? These 4 are like relatively, and without a teacher, it's difficult to connect to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And like we say, it's like sunlight. We need to make a fire, and between theirs we need magnetic glass. We put magnetic glass, and then you can take sunlight, bring into the fire. That you need to connect to the Buddha, Dharma, Sanghas. Then there is kind of between connector is your own good teacher. And of course, in the Sutta perspective, in the Tantra perspective, is everything is the Buddha, Dharma, Sanghas. The teacher is representative of the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Teacher is representative of the 3 kayas, 3 roots like Lama, Yadam, Kambo. And because it's all the source of your siddhis, outer inners, it comes from your own individual spiritual friends. That's force. And then it's like, therefore we are taking refuge in that. And then it's taking refuge in the Buddha. I'm taking refuge in Buddha in order to properly to receive his teachings. And also I'm taking refuge in the Dharma in properly to get rid of my disturbing emotions, because the Dharma is the antidote for our disturbing emotions. And for example, if I haven't got much enthusiastic or interest, or it's like no faith, no devotion to the Dharma, and whatever is telling to me through the Dharma teachings, I think it's like I'm irritating, like kind of hesitate. Maybe I'm not sure. So then this is blocked to the mind. And also it's like a kind of our helper. It's a Sangha. And that one is like really, we need to respect, to kind of take refugees, because it's a help to us, to show into us good qualities, because superior Sanghas all the time help to us, best companions, best friends. And therefore, generally understanding of the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha is Buddha's guide, best guide. Dharma is the best vehicle, and in order to go into the nirvana. And then is the Sanghas the best, we say, is the passengers, or the companion, or the helpers. You know, in the explanation of the refuge prayer says, like kind of when we want to come across or the cross to the ocean of the samsara, we need good boat, we need good captains, we need good passengers. Like a boat is the Dharma, captain is the Buddha, passenger is the Sangha. If a boat is not very good, any kind of boat cannot cross the ocean of the samsara. Same as the captains, not very good guide, cannot brought to us from the cross the ocean of the samsara. Passengers not very good. In the middle there is something problems, and then it's like cannot cross. Therefore, it's like Buddha, Dharma, Sangha is temporarily we need to take refuge inside. In these 3 things. When we arrive at the shores, then we don't need. That means it's like once we be enlightenment, then it's really the absolute, the source of refuge is our own Buddha nature. Once is realized our own Buddha natures through this condition of the outer Buddha Dharma Sanghas, then we don't need ourselves to become the source of the refuge of sentient beings. And therefore it's like to taking refuge vows is very important. And also it's like without taking refuge vows or without vows of the refuges, it's difficult to receive any kind of vows of the Buddhist path. Therefore we need to take refuge vows. And also once we take refuge vows, vows is like kind of invisible to like through the lineages or preceptors, and to transform into our minds. There's something kind of stings. Once we have these vows, it's a kind of inner, the maturations, it's a kind of currency. For example, it's the seeds we put in the ground, and we put some manure, and then there's automatically kind of cultivations, and they like grow up. Like this, once we receive any vows, the refugee vow, Bodhisattva vow, individual liberation vow, or Mantrayanas vows. Vows is like to have in our mind, there's a kind of maturations. This is very important. And it's like this. Then maybe we can to stop tomorrow. Okay? Maybe we can to stop. Yes, we need to go to the party. To dance, sing. No? Okay, no. Yeah. Beach bar is good. Okay, good luck. Go to party. Okay, so now the come chase you for the 2 minutes, but then not only here, going to the control and go. Junctures and children, my hip and he banyan nepa, only condom here. Sure, thank you very much. Good night. Don't drink too much. I'm going to drink maybe 2 bottles of